So I was able to get a new personal best in the Battle Dome and the Emerald Battle Frontier. I was able to beat the 7th floor, I guess like the 7th stage, which previously I was able to get like midway through the 7th stage, but I ended up losing. But this time I actually completed it. And in order to get the gold medal, I already have the silver medal, but the gold medal you need 10, basically it's like the 10th floor, I guess you could call it, or you need 40 wins. So I was at with 7 times 4, like about like 28, 30 wins. But yeah, you do need about 40, or you need 39 wins to be able to face the gold medal trainer with the brain trust, and then that is the 40th, I guess, win to get that gold medal. Again, I did not get the gold medal, but I did get a new personal best, which I'm pretty excited about. So the team that I was using was Wailord, Steelix, and Dusclops. Wailord is the new addition that I'm testing out. This has got Surf, Ice Beam, Fissure, and Rest with a Chesto Berry. Kind of very, I would say, non-meta, kind of a more experimental build. Wailord's one of my favorite Pokemon. It's just a big whale. I don't know, it's kind of hard to dislike. Definitely not a meta Pokemon you see other people use in the Battle Frontier. There's definitely a lot of reasons for that. However, I wanted to try it out, have some fun with it, and we ended up getting pretty far. As also a note too, this was the first actual run I think I had in the Battle Dome. I was testing out the battle, or I was initially doing the Battle Tower, and this team, I was using the same team as the Battle Dome and the Battle Tower, but this team in the Battle Tower was not having really any success and wasn't really able to get past like the, what is it, like the 3rd or 4th like level. Was not successful. But the Battle Dome had much more success. So anyway, getting back to the team, we had the Wailord. We have a physical attacking Steelix. So this Steelix, I had the Choice Band. We had Earthquake, Rock Slide, Explosion, and then I think I had Roar on it. The Roar is just kind of a wasted move in a sense. I really need to switch that out. It's kind of unfortunate though that the Steelix's hidden power is electric. I wish it was like literally anything else, but ideally it would be Steel or Grass would be actually like really awesome too, but yeah, it's electric. But the 3 other moves pretty good. Dusclops is more of like a stall Pokemon, kind of handles things that these other 2 Pokemon aren't going to be able to handle. Dusclops has the move set Seismic Toss, Toxic, Protect, and Rest with leftovers. Very hard to defeat, and it also has the ability Pressure, so it really is able to stall out almost like anything in the game, at least the things that I faced so far. I know there are obstacles ahead in Pokemon that can be much more powerful against Dusclops, but at least so far, Dusclops has been an absolute unit. So rocking through the Battle Dome up to this point had some pretty good success. The matches that you're going to be watching initially, at least up to the first maybe like 8 minutes, are the like final maybe 2 or 3 matches. So the match that we actually lost, the trainer had a Gardevoir, Machamp, and a Snorlax, and the trainer ended up not actually even using the Snorlax because again in the Battle Dome you only use 2 Pokemon. I sent out Dusclops and Wailord because I just didn't see a reason to send out Steelix in this. Would it have been good? Maybe, but I just didn't. I was most worried about the Snorlax, and I thought either we can use Explosion possibly to destroy Snorlax or just try and get a cheeky Fissure. The Wailord, or while using Wailord, because Wailord's pretty beefy, and I had somewhat confidence that if it was Snorlax versus Wailord could probably get a Fissure off. But the trainer had Gardevoir and Machamp, and it was kind of a grindy match. I really wanted Dusclops to try and be able to handle most of the fight, but ultimately Dusclops ended up dying. I probably could have made 1 or 2 better decisions here between my Protect and Rests, but anyway, the Machamp ended up having pretty low health, and I was just like, okay, all Wailord has to do, just hit a good Surf. You know, we don't need to do anything crazy or be super lucky. Just hit a Surf and we'll be good. The Wailord did it. You hit the Surf on the Machamp with already pretty low health. He was in the yellow, but it did not end up defeating Machamp, which is a little sad. But I was, at the time, I thought we had it because Wailord still had full health. But that Machamp hit a cross chop crit, and it actually completely annihilated Wailord, which to me was a little surprising. again, because we train this Wailord in all HP. Like it has perfect stats in HP and also very high defensive and special defensive stats, which the base is pretty low, but still I thought we would at least live a cross chop even if it critted, but we didn't. So that was the big sad, and that's how we lost. Out of all the ways I thought this team was going to lose, a Garnivore and a Garnivore and a Machamp was not the way I thought we were going to go. One of the previous fights, what is that, Swampert? The trainer had or could have had a Claydol, Raikou, or Metagross. That team was a little scary for me because I haven't seen Raikou yet, like getting this far into the game, and I know the Suicune and Raikou pretty crazy Pokemon at these higher rounds. So I was a little scared of that, and Wailord was going to be pretty much useless in that fight. For this battle, I ended up going Dusclops and Steelix because, again, I just didn't see the big use for Wailord. I mean, Wailord would have been pretty good against Claydol. I thought Steelix and Dusclops could have handled Claydol, and if I sent out Steelix anyway, we got Earthquake. They can deal with Metagross and the Raikou, so that's why I did that. So I made a pretty gamer move here. I switched right into Dusclops, and the Claydol used Explosion, so it didn't affect Dusclops, although it technically wouldn't have affected Steelix either. But maybe that wasn't the best gamer move, because at the same time it didn't really matter, but it felt kind of cool at the time. I was like, oh, because it doesn't affect Dusclops. But yeah, anyway, then I just sent out Steelix once I saw the Metagross, and then we just that fight was easier than I thought. I thought that was going to be a lot more difficult. There was one battle in the Dome where the opponent had 3 water ground types. That was annoying. I think it was a Swampert, Wishcash, and Quagmire. In general, I just have difficulty with all the teams I've been training against groundwater type Pokemon, because all the Pokemon I like are weak against ground and water most of the time. And I don't have any moves that are super effective against it because grass is the only thing. So it's always been kind of difficult. And against these Pokemon, most of the time, I mean, Dusclops can deal with like things like Swampert and such. But I ended up just spamming Fisher almost every time I saw a Swampert. And like any other Pokemon really that I couldn't handle with Ice Beam or Surf or Dusclops, I just kind of spammed Wailord's Fisher and Rest, and it kind of just worked. I mean, again, this is not a huge gamer pro strategy, but it's kind of like Mimi at some point, but it kind of worked, and it's probably not the most consistent or reliable, but when it happens, it was kind of cool. I don't know. It's kind of cool just seeing Wailord use a big Fisher move on a Pokemon that you can't or have a hard time killing. But yeah, Wailord, so see, those Pokemon that have like the groundwater types, and even just some other Pokemon, even like the beefy like water types, even like Kingdra or like Milotic, they can't really kill Wailord because you just keep resting, and you're bound to hit a Fisher once in your life, you know. So that strategy actually kind of worked. And one of the big problems with Kingdra I've been facing is like it's got like Lumberries, it's got Rest, it's got no weaknesses basically. Well, it's pretty much you're weak to Fisher. You can't ignore that move. So even though it's got a low hit rate, even though it's not like the most reliable, if you just keep spamming it on the beefy whale and then you keep resting up, you're bound to hit one, and it doesn't even matter if it can rest or the opposing Pokemon can rest or heal up because it just dies. And that was pretty awesome to see a couple times. I enjoyed seeing that more than I thought I would, I guess is a good way to put it. But so this was the first time too that I ran a water Pokemon with like Surf and Ice Beam, and man, the Surf it just feels so good. There's so many Pokemon that are like just weak to water. That I mean, all the Pokemon that I've been running are weak to water. So it's been hurting. The Surface hurts me from a like trainer perspective, like training the Pokemon that I love, and then just Surf just annihilates it. But on the other end of that, using Surf against those Pokemon, man, it feels good. It feels real good. So as for some of the weaknesses for this specific team, again, I'm talking about Dusclops, Wailord, and the Choice Banded Steelix. I will say that they're, at least compared to the other teams I've been running, this team has less weaknesses just by design, by not having multiple ground or rock Pokemon. Just again, because you're not so, I guess, exposed or vulnerable to like water Pokemon. So just that in itself lowered like the threat pool or the threat level of this team. We can also handle the water Pokemon and like ground water Pokemon. We at least have like a not consistent, but a pretty reliable answer with Wailord, with the Fisher, which is kind of cool to see. The Steelix is still a little lackluster in the sense that I rarely use Explosion because I'm just so petrified of Protect. And there was even a match where this was in the tower where I think the Slacking got one bulk up off, and I used a choice banded Steelix with Explosion still was unable to kill that Slacking. And the Steelix has max attack, like IVs and EVs. That was unable to defeat the Slacking, which was, to me, that was surprising. So I think I actually ended up winning that match, but that was not a fun game. I do not like using Explosion as much as I thought I guess I would. So on Steelix, there's really only two moves, Rock Slide and Earthquake, and that Stab Earthquake, though it does damage with the Choice Band, but it also, you kind of lock yourself, especially in the Battle Dome where you're like two Pokemon. You can really prohibit yourself if Steelix is your last option, but that's kind of almost like with any Pokemon that you're going to use Choice Band with. Yeah, that is just some weaknesses. Steelix in itself, it's a little weak. I love Steelix though, like I want to use Steelix in every team. I really love the Torment plus Protect combo that the other Steelix we had built. This was like the more defensive utility Steelix that also kind of comboed with the Dusclops. I miss Torment because Torment is such a good controlling move with Protect and just grinding out games and kind of not foreshadowing what the next move is, but knowing what it can't be. And that in itself, I think, is very valuable. So I almost want to put or train another Dusclops to have Torment, Protect, maybe Toxic, and then either Rest or, I don't know, just something like that. Maybe like a Chesto Berry instead of Leftovers. But that's going to be, that would be a whole nother, I think, team design, because you're essentially changing the offensive aspect of Dusclops and removing that Seismic Toss, which is a great move for a majority of the Pokemon. Just judging from the Pokemon that I faced in the Frontier with this team so far, as well as like just the weaknesses of my own team, I think the typing of the team is okay. It's just the team either needs a better ability or more diverse like move pool in like defeating the other Pokemon or having super effective moves or even just powerful moves. Now that I'm thinking about it, like Wailord's Rest and Fisher, like Rest again, it's a good move. It keeps the Wailord in the game and you can spam Fisher, but that is, again, like we saw that crit. I got that crit on me with Machamp, and that move wasn't even super effective. So, and Wailord's slow too. I kind of wish Wailord instead of Fisher it was like a hidden power Grass, but this Wailord's got Electric, which again is pretty good too. But if I put in the Electric hidden power, then all of a sudden I don't have Fisher, which I need to handle those ground water Pokemon to give this team also just a lot of trouble, because Dusclops can't really handle a lot of that. And one of the reasons too is some of those Pokemon have things like Rest or Curse and Toxic, even Seismic Toss. I mean, they can kind of handle it, but it's almost too slow. So you need something that kind of defeats those Pokemon kind of quickly before they set up. And I mean, Steelix and Explosion can do that, but it's not as good because, again, Steelix is super effective against or weak against Surf, Earthquake. Pretty much all those Pokemon run that. And it might seem like I'm harping intensely on these groundwater Pokemon, but they just give me so many issues, and I've either lose games very consistently to that, or those games are just so long and miserable that it like doesn't ruin the day, but they're memorable, and I want to avoid those. So that is why I keep harping on the Pokemon, because those Pokemon are quite annoying. One thing, if I had to make a modification to the team, would be to try and raise some more Steelixes, try and get a max attack and probably HP, but yeah, with Adamant Nature, we want that max attack. But I really want to get that Hidden Power Grass. I think that would be so good. But the thing too is, if Steelix isn't fast enough too, like if it gets hit with a Surf, is it even going to live? I think Steelix could handle, on average, like 1 Surf. Actually, let me see. So the Steelix that I have right now, that was on the team, had perfect IVs and attack, and we maxed the attack. It did not have, yeah, we put half the other EVs, or sorry, I guess a quarter of the EVs into HP and the other quarter into special defense, but those didn't have perfect IVs. It's still pretty high, overall overall stats, like at level 100, but possibly just maybe spending a little bit more time trying to get a Steelix with at least maybe like that special defense, or like perfect special defense, just to kind of give it some more survivability. But where was I going with this? Yeah, I don't necessarily see a reason to put any speed IVs or EVs, because Steelix is just so slow to begin with. Like, is it really gonna matter? Probably not, but maybe a little bit could be helpful, but I'd rather just get a little bit more bulk or beef. Quick Claw is always an option too, but that once you, or at least once I use Choice Band, I can't go back, because it's like you just see how much more damage it does. And again, it does lock you into some spots and weird situations, but it's almost 3/4 of those times it's like worth it, absolutely, because you just defeat the Pokemon immediately. There's no other turn that Pokemon can bounce back and hit you with a move. So there's definitely a lot of value in that Choice Band, but again, it does lock you in. Kind of forgot where I was going with this. But anyway, I think raising a Steelix, trying to get that Hidden Power Grass. It is tricky though. I know you could RNG manipulate it and everything like that, but again, I don't really like to do that, not because I think it's like wrong, or or I look down upon people that do that. I just personally want to try and enjoy these games, specifically how they are right now. I don't want to glitch anything or do anything, I guess, that's maybe not meant to be how the game's supposed to be played. And to me, I think that's a little bit, although I'll see how annoyed maybe I get trying to get this Hidden Power, but if I don't get it, it's whatever. Like, I'm not too hurt about it. Hidden Power Steel though would also be pretty good too. You get that stab bonus. But anyway, yeah, it got pretty. But anyway, I got pretty high in Battle Dome. I was quite excited, but how we lost, I was not excited at all. I was actually heated because I just didn't think that'd be the way we go out. I had a full health Wailord. He got chopped in half, and that's how we lost. So that was a little disappointing. But we bounced back, we learned, and keep grinding a little bit. That's all I got for this update though. Definitely stick around for some more. Check out the newsletter too. Type some articles up maybe every week or so. Just give you something to read every Sunday morning. But yeah, check out the other videos on the channel. Hopefully you're enjoying your Pokemon adventures, and I'll see you around.